The most important regions of Australia, just to name them, is of course South Australia. South Australia is almost delivering half of the amount of the varieties and half of the amount of the volume Australia is producing. So this is really, really huge. And they even made a bigger zone, a bigger area called Southeast Australia, consisting of South Australia, New South Wales, portion of Victoria. So they can have a really, really big site there in collecting mass market bulk wine for the international market. The number two after South Australia, it's New South Wales. New South Wales, about 30%, a little bit more, then followed by Victoria. Western Australia, which is the kind of Bordeaux-like style of wine there, it just counts for 2%. Yeah, and then the rest splits up. So you see that South Australia is by far the most important regions where wine is coming from. Looking a little bit closer on South Australia on the map, you see that we talk about vineyards which are mainly located just close to the ocean, close to the sea, and a little bit of inland vineyards like Clare Valley, Eden Valley, Barossa Valley. And down there on this map, you can see Coonawarra, a really, really important region, especially for Shiraz and Cabernet Sauvignon. Just to name the most important areas there, Barossa Valley, here we talk about 10,000 of hectares of area. The climate in the Barossa Valley is quite hot and quite dry. Although in higher altitudes, there is some cool air climbing. The soil in this area is quite fertile. It's not so fertile as in other sites, but it's still fertile. So we have to look on the rootstocks, we have to look on the clones, that we're not really doing a vigor vineyard there, just growing and growing and growing and producing a hell of a crop with a low quality. So this is one of the challenges in Barossa Valley. We have some brown loam with some iron content. You can see it is a little bit red in the soil there, which is the iron. It's going to rust. And underneath there is a limestone site. Producing, of course, Shiraz, 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 Cabernet, Cabernet, Cabernet Sauvignon, and then some warm climate varieties like Grenache. Semillon is a kind of a specific thing in Barossa Valley. A clear white wine area in the South Australia is Eden Valley. It's quite small, about 2,200 hectares of size. Moderate to warm climate. It's in the more inner skirt of the land, as you have seen on the map before. It's cooler than Barossa Valley due to the higher altitude, and it's mainly loamy sand, clay loams, and ironstone gravels, which is there. Ironstone gravels automatically means we talk about more fruitiness in the wines. The key varieties, and this is one of the benchmark wines around the world from Eden Valley, it's Riesling. Riesling from Eden Valley, as well as from the neighbor, the Clare Valley, is considered to be a kind of a benchmark for a warm climate, cool way of doing Riesling. Beside the Riesling is Chardonnay, and of course there is some Shiraz. Another important site I want to mention is Adelaide Hills. Adelaide Hills is about 2,600 of hectares. It's a moderate, cool, rainy climate, so, you know, it's a cool climate area. And these areas are going to be the most important ones in the future. We're talking about sandy loam there, and the varieties, guess what? We are white. So we talk about Sauvignon Blanc, we talk about Chardonnay, and Pinot Noir, the world's most highest quality red grape, at least they consider it to be so, are there. And Adelaide Hills is upcoming in terms of sparkling wines. They really got sparkling wines with second fermentation done in bottles with Chardonnay and Pinot Noir on an international quality standard. So if you want to compare, we are a little bit between the sparkling wines from Champagne, so not that much of yeast, not that much of bread and bread crust and yeast in the tasting, and a little bit broader shoulder than the versions from the UK, the English sparkling wines, which are quite lean and high acidity. One of the most important areas in the South Australia known for red wine of course, is Coonawarra. Why Coonawarra? Not because of the size, it's just 5,500 hectares of size, but it's a cool to moderate climate. Cold currents are coming from the Antarctic there, so we have a denudal swing, which is quite big, again supporting the fruitiness of the wines, but the special thing are the soils. There's a soil type called Terra Rossa, and Terra Rossa is a rich iron content soil over a limestone soil. And this iron content, this richness and this little bit of rustiness goes over to the flavor of the wine, to the taste of the wine. The main varieties in Coonawarra are Cabernet Sauvignon and Shiraz. And if you taste Cabernet Sauvignon and Shiraz from Coonawarra, you normally, in really ripe vintages, you get this little touch of eucalyptus in there. And this eucalyptus is always a key marker for wines of Coonawarra. The next region I want to talk about is New South Wales. New South Wales is now in the far southeast of Australia. In New South Wales there is one region really important because it's quite, close to the big cities. The region is called Hunter Valley. Hunter Valley split up in Upper Hunter Valley and Lower Hunter Valley, but all together we talk about 1,900 hectares of size. It has got a hot climate, moderate, high humidity, but the issue here is the humidity mainly comes during harvest times or let's say during the winter times. And there's one benchmark wine from Hunter Valley, beside the Shiraz of course. It's a Hunter Valley Semillon. Hunter Valley Semillon, a white wine, which is made purely in stainless steel. The harvest of the grapes is quite early, so even before the rain starts. So the alcohol level, we talk about 11.5 ABV, so you see that the ripeness level of the grapes is not that high. But acidity is high, it's a quite lean-bodied wine with a nice fruity structure. But the funny thing and interesting thing on this wine is the aging. So as long as the wine ages in the bottle, it's going to develop some really complex flavors. And after 10 years, 15 years, 20 years of age, you think you've got a Chardonnay with a 100% new French oak treatment in your glass. Although the wine never ever saw any oak, it's just pure stainless steel. And this is the fantastic thing on Hunter Valley Semillon. A future region, which is just coming up, and I've talking about the climate change before, so we're going up in the hay. It's Orange. 1,500 hectares. There are mountains there going up to 600, even 800, 900 meters above the sea level. It's a cool climate, even cooler than in Machi or Cobra, which are another cool climate regions in Australia. We have deep red and yellow-brown clay soils, volcanic ash, gravel and limestone. So a huge portion of different soil types in the vineyard. It's like a chess field, for example. Yeah? Varieties grown there as a cool climate, it's Chardonnay, it's Shiraz, delivering a little bit of red berry fruit, Cabernet Sauvignon with a classical bell pepper aroma on the palate, and of course Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc from Orange Valley has got, if you want to compare, it's more fruity than Sancerre, for example, in France, but it has much more acidity than compared to other Sauvignon Blancs from the New World. The next region I'm talking about, a region called Victoria. Victoria is a region which is considered to be the biggest potential region for the future, especially with regards to the climate change. We've got two very important regions there. The one is called Yarra Valley, about 2,400 hectares, and the other one is a peninsula, it's Mornington Peninsula, directly bordering to the sea, to the ocean. So humidity is there, cool airflows are there, everything perfect for cool climate conditions. In both sides, we are in Yarra Valley, for example, we are a little bit warmer than Burgundy. The rain we talk about is about 1,000 millimeters on average. Quite interesting conditions for wine growing. And guess what? Like in Burgundy, the two main varieties grown in Yarra Valley, as well as in Mornington Peninsula, they are Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. World-class Pinot Noir from Australia is coming from Yarra Valley and from Mornington Peninsula. Style-wise, you can compare it with Burgundy, of course. Maybe it's not that savory, that earthy, like the Burgundy versions, but if you go for Nuits-Saint-Georges, for example, in France, or if you go for some Chardonnays in the Mâconnais area, like Pouilly-Feusse, then you are there. The freshness of the acidity and the fruit is really nicely of a cool climate area of Australia in this region. Another region is Western Australia. As said before, Western Australia got a couple of sub-regions. The most important sub-region there is Margaret River. We talk about a little bit below 5,000 hectares of size in Margaret River. The climate, moderate to warm, maritime, and wet winters. So you see already, we can compare it a little bit with France and with Spain, maritime climate, a little bit wet, warm during summertime, everything perfect. The soil type is loam and clay, and Margaret River is considered the Bordeaux of Australia. Why it's considered the Bordeaux of Australia? Because the variety is planted there. It's Cabernet, it's Merlot, it's Sauvignon Blanc, and it's Semillon. So if you want to have an international style, a kind of an old world structure from the new world, go for Margaret River. The blend, classical Bordeaux blend, Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, on a really high quality level. Sometimes bottles can go up to $150 per bottle, or Sauvignon Blanc and Semillon in oak treatment, like in Graves or in Pessac-Léognan in France. This is the very, very same style. Chardonnay, in comparison to other Chardonnays in Australia, not that high amount of oak, French oak involvement there. No American oak in this area. In case they go for oak, they go for a French oak, but it's a 500 liters or even going up to 600 liter barrels, that the impact of the taste profile is not that big on the Chardonnay. So this is clearly the Bordeaux region in Australia.